Welcome to the Dawn Osborne Show, Limitless Life. The big question women like you and I ask is, how do we do that? How do we have a growth mindset? How do we increase our emotional intelligence? How do we do life, business and marketing, and yet still remain balanced in the rhythm of our life and our family? Those are the questions that this podcast will answer. My name is Dawn Osborne, and welcome to my Limitless Life podcast. Hi, and welcome to Dawn Osborne Limitless Life podcast. In this segment, we're going to talk about being fearless in those difficult conversations. And I just wanted to share with you 3 tips today on how to be fearless in these conversations, because sometimes, having difficult conversations are kind of unfortunate, yet they're just an inevitable part of life. And what we tend to do when we're fearful of having those conversations, we tend to avoid, we don't have enough courage to actually talk about the nerve-wracking discussion. So I know that it's something that we all struggle with, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether, you're a husband and wife, or even having it with your children. Having that difficult conversation with your children, because sometimes the truth hurts. And so I just wanted to help you today with 3 tips on, overcoming the fear of having a difficult conversation and bringing you into the fearless warrior or warrioress that you are. Okay, so tip number 1 for me today is, you need to prepare for the conversation. You need to figure out, this is the objective. You need to clarify the objective. Ask yourself what you want to accomplish by having this conversation. You need to be as honest as possible with yourself. Have a clear, the reason I'm having this conversation is because this is the outcome that I desire. It might not always go to plan, but if you can be clear on your own desire and your own objective for having that conversation, especially if you're going to have to confront something, it's going to be a lot easier for you, because you can, the conversation won't get lost in emotional, because, I do a lot on emotional intelligence and how to become self-aware. And so this is part of you becoming self-aware is, number 1, clarify your own objective, clarifying your own desires and your own outcomes for that conversation. That way you'll be able to get over any contents of the conversation that's not directed. You'll be able to bring it back, bring the conversation back to, hang on, this is the outcome that we desire. Number 2, figure out the underlying causes of a problem. So before you even go in, it's really important that you sit quietly and you think about what the problem is, why you're having to have this conversation in the first place. Try and make sense of what's going on before you go in, because there could be deeper issues involved here. There could be a piece of information that you don't know about that person, because you might be judging them on your current data that you have on that person, but there could be more. So if you can remove any emotion, especially any negative emotions, so if you can remove all the negative emotions before you go in, and there's a theory that I like to call positive intent. If we go into a difficult conversation with the positive intent, meaning, something good's going to come out of this. There's information here that I'm not aware of. There could be some underlying and deeper emotional issues going here. Going in with that kind of attitude and unpacking that before you go into the conversation, you're going to be better equipped to have a much more productive conversation. I think, you need to just don't have the conversation until you've got all the data and all the evidence. So, figure out what's really going on before you go in. All right. Number 3, this is huge. And I do I unpack this further in some of my cognitive thinking theories, but this is really, really important. And I think I've got a live Facebook video that you can go back and have a look at about assumptions. But number 3 is set aside your own assumptions. So what is an assumption? An assumption is something that I'm believing about that situation or about that person, but I don't have evidence. Assumption is you don't have any evidence. You believe it, but there's no evidence. So you're assuming something about this situation. And basically ask yourself how you feel when you consider the other person's intentions. If you feel that, what's going on for them, what do you think their intentions is around the conversation? Explore from both angles. So don't just make an assumption from your own angle. It's that good old saying, put yourself in someone else's shoes and have a look at it from their perspective. What assumptions could they be making so that you're prepared for the conversation beforehand, and so you can avoid more conflict. Okay, so a part of this is becoming fearless in conversations that are difficult, but also to being aware that you don't want it to get worse than what it already is. So, coming from a positive mindset, not making assumptions from your side, have a look from their side, what it would look like, and, figure out if there is underlying problems, how that is affecting the situation. So all in all, that you become fearless in having difficult conversations, but you're confident and bold, but you're also coming with emotional intelligence and a positive mindset. So, hey, I hope that's helped you today. Join me next time for a Limitless Life podcast. I thank you. You can follow me on Facebook, share this podcast, rate, subscribe to my channel. We share some encouraging things that will help you in everyday life, but also help you with your business. And if you're an entrepreneur, this stuff will help you. All right, you have a great day. Bye.